Welcome, travelers. This is Brooks with Voyage Healthcare. Today we have one of our travelers with us, Katie Sheehan from Plainview, Minnesota. Welcome, Katie. Today we're going to talk about tips and tips from a traveler. So my first question is, when you came to us, first, how did you find us?
So I was actually doing a few different forms of job hunting, and I came across a post on Facebook that had your name and Colorado tagged on it, and I was avidly hunting for a Colorado contract.
Oh, so you came from Minnesota down to Colorado. So my first initial question to you at that time, and still now to tell our audience, why Colorado?
Colorado's just always been a state that I've dreamed about living in. I came here on a ski trip with my sister like 6-7 years ago, and ever since then I always knew that this was a place I eventually wanted to be, and it just seemed like a good time to do it.
That's a great point, Katie. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you. So tell everyone how much easier it is when you're open to different shifts, places, how flexible.
Travel nursing is, it involves a lot of flexibility. You really have to be open to going wherever and as many shifts as you possibly can. It opens up so many more doors for you as far as your pay scale, getting the shifts that you want, being in the areas that you want. All of it kind of comes together if you're very open.
Of course, and before we went live, we were actually talking about different shifts. We were talking about night shift, day shift, and I believe you said you started off only doing days. And I asked, why did you switch to nights? Why were you okay with nights? And let them know what the reason was.
So I was originally on day shift before I even started travel nursing. I loved the hustle and bustle. I loved the learning opportunities, the support you had. This last contract was the first contract I had doing night shift, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I was able to get a block schedule, so I was able to really get my sleeping routine on point, and it really didn't affect my body too much. I know it can for different people, but it really was good having that set schedule.
Right. Awesome. Let's touch a little bit on taking a position below your acuity. We did kind of touch on this before as well. You're an ICU nurse with a little bit of med-surg experience. Let's talk a little bit about your contract now and the contract before, and what the difference is and why we went from one to the other.
So the contract that I took now is in medical surgical unit, which is the lower acuity. Then you go to an intermediate unit, and then you go to an ICU level, which is where I was at. I was able to get into a medical surgical unit because my willingness to float, my willingness to pick up where I'm needed,
right,
and my adaptability.
Awesome. Love the answer. Now let's kind of shift our focus to helping travelers on the road. We talked about housing, traveling, what do you bring, travel light. Let's kind of expand. First, let's talk about what you use for your documents when you send them to us at the very beginning. Your shot records, driver's license, certifications.
So I keep all that in one, it's called an eye scanner app. I actually got it from the name from a guy who works at Walgreens. He suggested it. He's like, if you need to scan a bunch of documents, this is the way to go. And it costs $10 a month, and I swear by it because I keep all my credentialing in one little folder, and it's easy to send when a recruiter is like, oh, I need this, X, Y, Z. Right. I can go to that one folder and be like, here you go.
And even up-to-date items, whether you get a titer or up-to-date flu shot, up-to-date COVID, booster, everything's still there and easy accessible.
Yep, and you just snap it with your phone, snap a picture, and it's in there.
Awesome, love it. Let's talk about traveling. So when you traveled from Minnesota down here, what did you bring? What do you wish you would have brought? What do you wish you would have left home?
Well, so when I moved from Minnesota, I pretty much sold whatever I owned that did not fit in the back of my Jeep and just kind of started driving. But I definitely, my favorite thing that I brought is my cat because he's my homie. But the things that I wish I would have left home is probably some of like my cooking stuff, because I don't do a lot of cooking because I'm so busy.
Right.
I like to meal prep, but it's been very hard to do it on the road.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Let's talk about housing. I know you brought up a great point with knowing the manager at those downtown facilities. By the way, she is in Grand Junction, Colorado, which is just west of us. It's beautiful, mountainy, in the mountains, right next to Glenwood Springs. There's hot springs, skiing. Moab, Utah, amazing. Let's talk about housing.
Housing has been a little bit of a challenge. I was searching on 3 different sites, I believe, how Furnish Finders, Hot Pads, and a Facebook Marketplace. And I eventually found on Furnish Finders one of the long-term stay hotels. And that has been really nice because I'm staying right in the downtown area. So it's all the hustle and bustle. You're always by people. You've always got something to do, places to eat, walking distance.
Great, awesome. Listen, with this, do you have any other tips or tricks or anything that you would like to let other travelers know? Anything that can help them make the jump to traveling? You know, maybe there's a few people at home that it's like, hey, I want to travel, but I'm a little worried to kind of get out. What can you say to where it's like, make the jump?
I say do it, because this is the time to do it now. You have to enjoy your life, and if you're wondering if you want to do it or wouldn't want to do it, just do it. That's how I got into it. I jumped, and somebody was like, yeah, I'm doing this, and I was like, I'll do it with you, and I don't regret a single thing. It's been one of the best experiences. I've met so many great people. I've seen so many great places, and if you can make a relationship with somebody, you will be exactly fine.
Awesome, love it. Well, this is Brooks with Voyage and Katie, and we are signing off for Traveler Tuesday. Thanks.